All right, day 3 in Japan.
I had to do that. I'm taller than the mirror. It's just hilarious to me. I couldn't help myself. But I'm going to be going and interviewing Dimrays and Gungire and also Uwu from Disney Metal. And oh my god, I forgot the name of her other band, but here it is in post-edit somewhere.
I don't know if I'm just tripping or if it's just me or is that butter ridiculously yellow.
So a little update on Joey. He is finally gonna get here today. He got delayed one more time. He was stuck at one of the airports, but he's finally gonna get here tonight. It just really blows because he missed out on both of the shows. He was supposed to be here for the interviews. Now he can't make it. But it's okay. We have some more adventures ahead of us anyways. At least we know he is confirmed in the air right now. So I was wondering why everybody was wearing their bag in the front, right? They have it like right in the front, like all the time. And I'm like, why are they doing that? So I grabbed my backpack right now and then it just dawned on me. They're doing that because they switch so much between the train stations. It's just easier to have it in the front when you sit down. At least I think that's what it is. Let me know if I'm wrong down below, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Because it makes sense, right? Because you can just sit right away. You don't have to like take your bag off every single time.
Yeah, that was a legit crunch sound you just heard right now when I bit into that. It was really good, actually. I'm not sure what kind of cheese it is or what that red sauce is. I'm assuming it's some form of a ketchup. It had a very distinct pork flavor to it, but it was really delicious. Even the hot dog had a crunch to it.
So this is some Indian food in Japan, and they were telling me how
Japanese like to customize everything when it comes to different cultures of food, which I was thinking about it. That's kind of like everywhere, but it was hilarious. They were all laughing at me because I did not like the food that much. I liked the bread cheese thing with the curry a little bit, but the milk was, it was sour, tarty taste. Like just thinking about it, I didn't like it.
a little off.
So I'm getting a hang of the train system. I'm a fucking expert, right? I'm so proud of myself. I'm navigating through the trains, no problem, with Google. However, I had to go meet up with the bands.
At 12 p.m., so I grab my gear, I get ready to go out, and I'm on the train. Everything is going very smooth. I'm almost there, and I'm looking down.
And I was just sitting there, looking at my phone, looking at the stops or where I have to go on the train. And while I'm looking down, I'm like, okay, I gotta stop right here. Literally look up. The door's open. Yeah, I'm just staring at the doors opening. And I look back down, and then I look back up, and they close. I'm like, oh fuck, there was the one. I had to go out that one. And then now I'm going, the train just keeps going and going. And then I message Hiro from J-Rock Tours, who's helping me meet up with these bands. I'm like, dude, I just went past the stop. I'm not even there anymore. And he's like, oh, you're fine. It'll stop eventually. So again, I'm looking at the map now, and I'm just watching my train just like going all the way from. I'm like, and I message him like, bro, it's not stopping. It just keeps going. And I'm not even joking. It was one of the express ones, so it like skips a bunch of stops. So there's no opportunity to stop ahead of time at a certain spot. So it just kept going and going. And then I get off of the platform finally it stops, right? So it was the express one, and I think that's why I was skipping all of those stops and everything. So I get off finally, and I'm like, all right, let me look at the maps. And then for some reason, the line thing wasn't matching with what was being displayed at the station for some reason. Every other time when you find a certain line, you can find it on the signs pretty much, but this one didn't. I can't remember which line it was, but it says go to this line, but it was nowhere to be found. So I'm like, now I'm guessing on which one I have to go on, right? So I get on another train, and I'm like, well, I know I need to go that direction and not this direction. So I just made sure the train was facing that direction. I should be good. If it's facing that direction, I should be generally going in the right way, right? So I get on. Okay, I did get on the right one, right? It looks like I got on the right one. This is after walking around for like 30 minutes trying to figure out where the line is. And I had given up. I was like, all right, just get on a train that's going in the general direction of where I need to get. So I get on and I do the same fucking thing. We get to the stop and I'm like, wait, is this a stop? Is this not the stop? Because sometimes you go under like little passageways and you lose service. It would lag on the phone, which I know this because I've taken trains before in other places, and you got to make sure you're paying attention, otherwise you could miss it in a split second. And then I passed the station again that I was supposed to get to, so I had to get back on the station and then go back the other way, and literally it was just like a bunch of back and forth, and finally I was like, holy fuck, all right. I messaged him like, okay, I think I gotta figure it out. All right, I need to go towards Shinjuku, right? But I had to stop at a certain station on my way to Shinjuku, and that's why I kept passing it. And then finally I was like, all right, I'm gonna stop here no matter what my phone says. I stopped using my phone, and I looked down, my phone was completely incorrect, but it said the right stop. I'm like, I know it's right here. And I got off, and then I finally got up, and they met me at the front.
I caught you. This is a meeting room where we are doing the interview.
After the interviews, we did some reactions to Dim Ray's actual new song, Bad Taste. Then the moment came where I show Uwu my Baby Metal cover of Doki Doki Morning like you all requested. This was a very embarrassing moment for me, but it was so much fun. The full reaction will be up very soon, so please stay tuned for that.
I'm so nervous.
I'm nervous.
本当にAlan, nice to meet you again.
Breaking new gate.
So I just heard back from Joey finally. He finally landed.
All right, let's talk about the second show I have ever been to in Japan. Now, this was much different than the first one because we had 3 completely different genres at this show. This venue was much smaller than the last venue too, but you had the same crowd interaction as that first show. Like, everyone was into it. There was like a core amount of people in there just always engaging with the band engaging back. And like I said in the last vlog, this is something I really love about these shows in Japan. They're just over the top when you go there. I met up with Peter Lim from Made News Network, and he told me that a lot of these bands have a core fan base that always shows up no matter what. And the thing that makes it cool about this core fan base is I feel like they get everyone involved, and which probably helps newer fans become fans of those bands because they're like, oh, there's this group of supportive fans already there, and they're very nice to each other, they're very helpful with each other. From what I've witnessed so far, what I've experienced so far, Peter did go on to tell me that there is some other genres or some other bands that have a different vibe at the shows that might be not the same as these ones that I've been to, because these 2 shows I've been to have been very high energy and my kind of thing. It's my style, 100%. I love high energy shows, a very punk vibe to it, which makes sense because I grew up playing punk and listening to punk in my teenage years. So I think it probably just resonates with me a little bit more. But I like the heavy stuff too. So now I'm even more curious to check out a heavier genre of Japanese music live and see how that will go. The show that I'm going to tonight is going to be another high energy show. I know it's going to be, because I'm going to be seeing Dizzy Metal tonight.
and I'm looking forward to that. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you can get notified when my other vlogs come out about my trip to Japan. Now about the show. So the first artist was Sarah Nanho, who is a solo artist singer. She was really good, very upbeat, very pop type of vibes. Audience was all into it, right? Everyone's jumping up and down, singing with her. She gave a lot of like heartfelt monologues in between songs. At least it felt very heartfelt, very intimate. You can see that she was connecting with the crowd really well. And she was dancing the entire time while singing, which is always impressive to me, just pulling off vocals while dancing around. And I love that it wasn't just backing tracks, it was her actual voice. That's always a plus, because you know when we see pop singers nowadays, we're not really getting their real voice. She had really good backing tracks too set up. Mix was great. The way that her voice was bounced over it was very good, very solid. Just like the last gig I went to, everything just sounds great.
We always hear about how all the Japanese bands and groups are so supportive of each other, and right here we got to witness that in person, where Garock Tokyo brought out a cake for Sarah Nanho later in her set to wish her happy birthday, and it was so cool to see. So they brought the cake out, we all wished her happy birthday and took pictures.
And that was what was one of the more amazing parts about this, is that they were three completely different genres of music, but they're all supporting each other. And that's something that I have not seen in the States. Normally, like every band or clique, I guess you could say, all the death metal bands stay together, all the metalcore bands stay together. And this was a pop artist, a heavy metal band, and then I guess hard rock, melodic hard rock, I guess is how you could put it. Just check them out. I'll leave links to all these bands down below for you to check out their music. After that, we had Dim Rays. Dim Rays, whoo! So heavy, so good. If you like Hanabiye, you will love Dim Rays. These songs were amazing. I was really looking forward to their song Bad Taste that they just released online just recently, and just hearing it live was incredible. It's so much better than the recorded version. All these songs that these bands play live just seem so much better. And I think a lot of it has to do with just the energy of the bands. The bassist Naho, she's so bubbly, so upbeat, and just brings you in. And then we have the singer Akane, who has a very versatile voice. She's pulling off rapping, pulling off like these crazy screams, amazing singing. The melodies were awesome, very catchy. And you could tell that she just like loves what she's doing, and she was getting right into it. The crowd was going absolutely nuts for Dim Rays. We had fun circle pits, and we're just enjoying ourselves. And another thing about the Dim Rays show is that we did crowd surfing with a very much smaller audience. I would say maybe 15 people, and I crowd surfed with 15 people, which was pretty impressive. Everybody's really supportive when you're crowd surfing. And the reason why I mentioned this is because I went to a Jaluka concert, which was quadruple the amount of people compared to this show. And when I crowd surfed there in LA, I got dropped 3 times. And this crowd was only like 15 people, and they were crowd surfing me no problem. I thought that was freaking hilarious. Then we had the last group, which was called Garock Tokyo. And this was a duo, like Dim Rays. Dim Rays was a duo also. They have support musicians, but the drummer did show up for the interview. So I'm wondering if she is going to be a permanent member or not, but they had a support guitarist there, and he was incredible. His playing was really good, and he got into it along with the band. That's the crazy thing, is that they had support musicians putting an equivalent amount of energy as like the main members. And before I talk about this next group, I forgot to mention the drummer was absolutely incredible. She was phenomenal. Then we had Garock Tokyo. And this was a 2-member group. They used backing tracks for the drums and the bass. We had the main vocalist, Masaki, and then we had the guitarist, who was born without a right hand, Lisa J. Poole. Now she's in another band called Moth and Lilac, but it was cool to see that even though she doesn't have a right hand, she had this glove that was, it looks like specially made for her right arm, which holds a pick where it makes it possible for her to play guitar, and she did a great job. So that's day 3.
I have a whole playlist of my entire trip in Japan so far right here somewhere on the screen. It's been wild. I'm getting super tired now. The time zone thing's kind of hitting me a little bit harder, and we've been doing a lot since Joey has landed. Stay tuned for all those vlogs that are coming out real soon. I'll see y'all in the next one. See you!